What's up, roofing industry? Dimitri here, coming to you from my backyard with another Sunday night message. Sunday nights, I'm sharing with the world what's on my heart, my thoughts. This video will be unedited, no matter how I try to say it. I'm gonna offend a lot of people today. I'm gonna probably lose some of you, and hopefully I will gain some people as well. Please stay to the end, because this is not a bashing video. This is conversation video, and I want to have a conversation with you. I want to be as honest as I possibly can about stories from my life. I'm going to share my experience with Hunter Ballew, man behind RoofCon, Antony Delmedico, and I will explain why I stopped coming to Win the Storm conference. We're going to talk a lot about conferences, the difference between conferences, why I missed RoofCon this year. And the most important part I'm gonna save to the end. I have very special message to the roofing industry, to everyone who consider himself or herself as a leader. If you are making the difference in the industry, I want you to stay all the way to the end, or if you don't have time for the story time, just go to the end, because I have a special call to action for everyone in the roofing industry. The reason I'm filming it today, and you already know from the title, it's about Win the Storm, Delmedico, RoofCon, is because so many people have reached out to me in the last few weeks. There's been huge movements in the industry. A lot of people are fed up with some bullshit that has been happening behind closed doors and open doors, and they are coming out of the woodwork. I have few very influencing people came to me and said, Dimitri, we're tired of this. It's more on the Delmedico side, and I'll get to it a little bit later. But I want to start with the RoofCon. Why did I miss the RoofCon and my relationship with Hunter? Hunter and myself met first time about 5 years ago, before Hunter even had the roofing company. And he came to Minneapolis. Before he opened his roofing business, he was marketer. He was doing websites, and he has a client here. And of course, with the roofing insights, with this wind going right at me. So of course we started collaborated online. He came to us, visited Storm Group. We played basketball with the Storm Group team at Lifetime Fitness. Gonna publicly admit that Hunter beat me, but it was a 3-3 game, and I think they beat us by 2 points. If you know how competitive I am, it's hard for me to admit public defeats, but I still beat Jason Hurley and the rest of you guys on the basketball. But Hunter and myself become friends. We traveled together in 2016 or 17 maybe. I brought him to Vid Summit, California, and we even stayed in the same room. Weird fact, but hotel was sold out. I had tickets to Vid Summit. We met a lot of people. Gary Vaynerchuk was speaking that year, and it was fun conference. Later, something happened between us. It was stupid. It was nothing to be, spilled on the internet. It was dispute. He was doing some stuff for Roofing Insights SEO package. I was a dick about situation. I did not like what he did. He did not like the way I said it. Long story short, you probably have heard me saying something about him probably saying something about me, but overall we have mutual respect for each other for years. We watched each other grow. Like, obviously he went and started his company, he started RoofCon later, and at first I did not know how to react about it, because we're so competitive. I want you to understand one thing: when you respect your competition and you're a competitor yourself, sometimes it's hard, it's awkward to do something with a person. I'll give you an example. In the CrossFit community, we have a major, I don't even want to say it was a conflict, but Matt Fraser won CrossFit Games 5 times. Rich Froning won CrossFit Games 4 times. And Matt Fraser moved to Cookeville, Tennessee, actually was working out with the Rich Froning for quite some time. And later, like a year later, he went on a podcast and he said that he was working out at that gym, at Rich Froning gym, and for 6 months he did not even see the guy. And the story kind of like shook community. Everybody's like, what? Like, Rich Froning is a super nice guy. And Matt Fraser is a nice guy. Then 2 weeks later, we saw the pictures with them together. They made up, and I remember how Rich Froning explained to the world what happened. They were so competitive, and he said, like, if we would keep competing against each other, one of us would die. And I could not agree more. Here's what you have to know about me and Hunter. I absolutely love everything that Hunter built. The RoofCon is amazing, and I told him last week on a phone call. We actually met at IRE for the last 2 years. He came to me, he's like, we're cool. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. The problem with people like us is it's so awkward. I want you to know this. When you create content and you're competitive, sometimes it's better not to even look what other people are doing. And this is exactly what I've been doing for years. Because if you look at competition, it will affect your own game. At competition, you have to train by yourself. I remember another example from CrossFit Games. We have Jason Khalipa back in 2011. He won CrossFit Games. Next year, Rich Froning won CrossFit Games. And it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in sports history to me. He made a short, what's Rich doing? And the point was, like, he wanted to beat Rich Froning so much, he literally created a t-shirt, what Rich is doing right now, because Rich Froning was unbeatable already. And everybody was mocking him like, dude, like, stay in your lane, focus on your game and your weaknesses. And I agree with that. When I started roofing business school, I had access to Rodney Webb University. I follow a lot of other people. I stopped watching other people's content. You know why? Because I don't want nobody ever say that I'm a copycat or I'm stealing someone else. I'm not a sales guru. I'm not a sales expert. I'm not a sales coach. I don't want to, like, I will refer people to Rodney Webb, but I don't want to even watch. I don't want to be student of his school when I have a school, because it will affect my game. If I'm going to keep going to, RoofCon and stuff, it will affect a roofing process conference, and I don't want that. Now, there's a place and time for collaboration. If you're thinking about Bill Gates and Steve Jobs back in the day, they could be on a stage, but they would be on a stage at an expo or a completely different event. But Steve Jobs would not go to Bill Gates conference, and Bill Gates would not go to Steve Jobs conference, or their corporate events. You have to know what you're good at. And if Hunter would attend a roofing process conference, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but it will be awkward. I don't think I would know how to react or what to do about it. And I think he probably have something similar, because we're competing for audience. We're different, but it's good to be different. Hunter, he is more on the spiritual, and he likes to bring, pray with people and preach to people and bring pastors and stuff. And I'm not against it, but the way I was raised and the way I do business, I don't want to bring my spiritual walk with the Lord to my audience. I don't want to preach to you. I don't want to tell you that I read Bible every morning, and I don't want to tell you that I accepted Jesus when I was 16. I'm a sinner. I want you to judge me by my character, what I do in business, not what I say about it. Now, it does not make Hunter and his preaching wrong. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes, and we're just different. But again, it's like, I'm a numbers guy. For me, my conference is about process. It's about guys like Marcus Lemonis. The reason I bring them, because that's what I see is important in business. But of course, character and spirituality also important, and that's for that reason I would actually attend Hunter, because I need that spiritual element as well. And so, enough said. Me and Hunter have no beef. If you guys are attending his conferences, I think it's amazing. And Hunter is one of the best guys in the industry, and I love to see that we actually have options now. And I'll talk about options at the end of this video, because 5-6 years ago we didn't have options. Wind the Storm was the only thing. We had IRE and Wind the Storm. Now I would like to switch to Delmedico, and why I stopped attending Delmedico, because the reasons are completely different. So I think he's done his conference 8 or 9 years. I was introduced to him, I want to say 2015. I've been on 2, maybe 3 Wind the Storms, can't remember. I think 3 total, and I have not been in the last 3. And I want to share with you how our relationships ended and why they're ended. Because Delmedico is a completely different story. I went to his conferences. I was disappointing, like many of you guys. Bad message, bad behavior, bad culture. I mean, typical roofing culture. You know, what they say about roofers, you know, drugs, alcohol, prostitutes, you will find it in the storm. Unfortunately, over the years, it never changed. I take criticism very seriously. Like, I know I made mistake, not mistake to many. Like, if you look at the context, it was not a mistake. We had drinks, and I even have a white claw on the stage, and people roasted me for it. But you need to understand, when we have a drink with the friends, it was friends. Our first conference, first event had 150 people, and we all were super connected. I wouldn't allow anything like that today or even last year, but first year it was a little bit different. Now, the moment I start getting those messages, that feedback, you know, we stopped, because we always listen to what our audience is saying, and I'm very sensitive about it. Delmedico never changed. I see his team is telling me to him the same message. I see he keep getting fights with pretty much everybody around him. Every year he breaks up relationships, and people come to other people, and I'm one of them. His vendors, his friends, even his videographers, all were coming to me and complaining about how bad the conference was, like abuse of drugs, abuse of like half-naked girls, like all of that stuff. But no, that's actually not the reason. What truly took place is, years ago, you know, before I even approached him, I was like 50-50. I knew his reputation. Antony Delmedico was always a bad guy in the industry. He was one-star contractor. Nobody ever respected him and his ways of doing business. Everybody knows it. That's his reputation. You talk to anyone, everybody says the same thing. We don't like the guy, but we like his build. And I think what he built with Wind and Storm is amazing. Unfortunately, when you are the guy, when you are a one-star contractor, you lose a lot of credibility. You want to call out insurance companies for shady practices, but you practice shady. Like, you know, it's for me, it's like, if you're a corrupt police officer, like you accepting bribes and you corrupt, you don't get to prosecute or call out you know, anyone for corruption, because you corrupt yourself. We need a better leaders to call out insurance companies. I know John Houteling called me the other day. I made a post, and I wanted to expose Delmedico. I'm not gonna do it. This is as big as gonna get. I'm not gonna edit videos how bad he is. I'm not gonna go into his closet and share dirty stuff. But I also don't agree with John Houteling. John Houteling says, Dmitry, you know, we need to stay together, and Delmedico has done good for the industry. We're fighting insurance companies. I don't agree with it. If you don't have good reputation, if you're shady yourself, you don't get to call and debate insurance companies. I'm sorry. John Houteling has authority to be on a stage to debate guys like Steve Badger. But not Delmedico. I'm not gonna take my words back. If you have such a horrible name, you should remove yourself, maybe sell your event to someone else who has authority to do the fight. But here's how I got excluded or kicked out from. Here's the full story on me being kicked out from Storm Ventures Group. You know, I tried to collaborate with Delmedico against my own consciousness, against my own guts. So many people told me not to even do anything with the guy. And I'm like, I'm gonna try his audience. I'm gonna try to influence them. I'm gonna spread my message, share my thoughts, share my expertise. And I did it. I went to his office. I did not like what I saw, but then things went south after that. If you remember Joshua Waxmans Story, this was the beginning of the end. Joshua Waxmans Story, that's where I drew the line. We had a guy in the industry, for those of you who are new here, Joshua Waxman scammed about 150 contractors. It's actually his numbers. I asked him how many guys paid you. 150. We asked Joshua Waxman to give us at least 3 testimonials, and he couldn't. Out of all those people, he could not give us, where's my flyer? Even 3 testimonials. He gave us 2 people, and both of them would not recommend him. Now, He's out of business today. He's not scamming contractors. But you need to understand that, Storm Ventures Group is a pretty big monetized group. They take money from all of these vendors, everybody who promotes themselves. I'm talking about $1,500 per month. I think something like that, like just to advertise in that group. Nothing wrong with it, as long as people who are advertising are good business people and good for the industry. Joshua Waxman was not that. The problem is when we have story in our group, I started doing an investigation. I realized we can kick him out here, but he's gonna go and advertise to 7,000 contractors in Storm Ventures Group, right? So I made a post in Storm Ventures Group. I said, guys, be careful, stop promoting this guy. Adam, right hand of Delmedico, personally was promoting Joshua Waxman. Like, I've seen posts, I took screenshots. When someone would say, hey, I need leads, can you recommend someone? She would be tagging him, yeah, call our buddy Joshua Waxman, because he was paying SVG to advertise. He was coming to their events and he was active in the group. Well, I came to their page to say, guys, stop doing it. He is a crook. He needs to be stopped. That's the only way we're gonna stop it. Guess what they did? What SVG always does. They wanted to sweep it under the rug. They start backing off. Atom stopped lying. Delmedico started lying. No, we're not associated. Yes, you are. I showed you the screenshots. So I called them out on it. And instead of dealing with Waxman, they kick me out over that story. How crazy it is. Like, I'm calling out a shady person, and you are, instead of saying, hey, like, listen, sooner or later I'm gonna recommend someone too. I'm gonna recommend service, brand, or person who will screw other people. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm flying to Florida and I'm gonna meet the homeowner. My contractor who I recommended in directory have done damage. I'm meeting the homeowner, I'm interviewing him. You're gonna find out about it, what happened and why I kicked him out of directory. If I give better recommendation, I'm standing behind circumstances. Delmedico never did it. Never ever in his life I've heard Delmedico accept that, hey, I was wrong. He's always right. He always has been a money grabber. The only thing he's gonna do is block people so there's no conflict and so people cannot share experience. And that's how it's been for years. And I just had enough. And Waxmans Story is the story where, like, you know what? If you're gonna do this, I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to be associated with it. And from that point forward, I mean, it's only got worse. I received probably 100, maybe 200 complaints from ex-vendors, like the most recent one, Josh Kortner. The guy paid Delmedico $7,000 to come to his podcast. He lives in his town. It took him 7 months calling Atom again, Delmedico, everybody else. $7,000 is a lot of money for podcast in the first place. So, and most of Delmedico's promises to his vendors and to influencers, it's just the value is just not there. Let me just put it this way: the value is not there. But okay, he has audience, and that's why so many people are going to that conference. It took Josh Kortner to go to a sales group, roofing sales and discussion, and make a huge post about it for Adam finally engage and say, well, just call me. Well, he did. Again, just like in the Waxman story, Adam is like, okay, we're not perfect. You're not perfect. You crooks. You keep taking money from people, and unless it affects you, like your reputation, unless everybody's talking about it and it backfires you, you're not going to do shit about it. Waxman was just one story. There's like 10, 20 stories like that. Every year I have vendor after year after vendor after vendor after vendor comment to me. You know how many companies I interviewed who said almost identical story? The credit app guy. They say, I'm sitting down with him and he's like, are you with Storm Ventures? I'm like, no. He's like, I hate that guy. I'm like, why? Well, they charged me this amount, like $1,500 for their email list and for this. And then when I call back and say, guys, when are you going to send it to me? They're like, well, our email list grew and now it's $3,000. I'm like, I already paid for it. You never deliver. Like, you can't treat vendors like that. Anyway, here's why I'm making this video. There are a lot of people right now who wants to change this industry. There's a lot of people who are tired of this bullshit and bad behavior. 5-7 years ago, you did not have options. Today, you have options. Last week, I received a message from someone who purchased tickets to a roofing process conference. And the guy said, Dmitry, I have learned something about you and Roofing Insights. I don't want to attend. And you know what? I respect that. I'm hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. I know my methods, videos like this, a lot of people don't agree with it. I know that my message, my videos offend a lot of contractors, usually contractors who are super aggressive, who is all about money. You know, if my product reviews offend you, if me talking about contractors offends you, you know, you don't have to come to my event. But here's what I want to say. I've heard this phrase so many times over the years. So many vendors told me, Dmitry, we're never going to go to Win the Storm again, and next year they still go. And it's just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. We don't like the management, we don't like Delmedico personality, but they're still going for the network. And here's what this video is all about. It comes down to, you guys are voting with your wallets. When you go to a certain event, you also are associating with the event. For example, when I collaborated with Best Damn Roofer, you know, it cost me audience. Like, I've been getting messages that people are not gonna come to my events because it affects us. And right now I have 3 people I'm working with who've been at Win the Storm group. They came to me and like, Dmitry, we're trying to build our own brand. We don't want to be part of that. It's much harder to disassociate from someone after you've been in the game with them. So think about that. We have 3 trees growing. We have Roofing Process Conference, we have Win the Storm, we have RoofCon. And I'm not gonna tell you that don't go to Win the Storm. Please do. If that's your crowd, if that's your people, but please be accountable for what you're doing. I see a lot of vendors going there because they want to lose market share. They're going there, like I've heard it from vendors, from the best vendors, same vendors I work with us. They tell me, Dmitry, we love Roofing Process Conference. We hate Win the Storm, but we go there just because contractors go there. I think personally it's the wrong way of doing business and it's the wrong thing to do. You vote with your money. When people receive money and gets richer, they're influencing growth. And what's happening is you're not gonna change them. Money don't change people. Money makes people bigger who they already are. So if you're the giver and you like to support people and you become richer, you're gonna be more of that. So like if Roofing Insights and myself get more money and you know we become richer or get more influence, we're gonna call out more companies. We're gonna, you know, you're helping us with our mission. If someone likes prostitutes and cocaine and you know very questionable stuff in life, that's their choices. Guess what? Giving them more money just gonna make them do more of that. And we have seen it. People just don't change. They don't listen. I would like to see John Howe telling behind Win the Storm conference, not Delmedico. I would like to see changes, and I will be the first one to report if I do see changes. But the trend is this year and last year after Win the Storm, I've got record calls. Half of their team came to me, and it was disturbing. People who are coming to me and sharing stories with me, I'm like, this is only getting worse. I worry about this industry and I worry how homeowners are suing us. Antony Delmedico is the contractor who gave contractors a bad name, okay? And now he's on the stage teaching others. He's the guy who promotes guys like Waxman. He's the guy who he should not be the guy challenging insurance companies. He should maybe be an organizer behind the scenes, but he is not the one to give the face of our fights. And his mission, I personally don't agree with it. That's why I stopped comment. And if you comment to Win the Storm, you are supporting him. If we have 3 trees and you only can go, you know, pour water on one of them, you're making that tree bigger. I'll give you an example. Last year, we were expecting about 800 to 1,000 people, but because of the COVID, It was December last year. Canada could not come at all. 100 tickets made a huge difference. We literally have 100 refunds and ended up losing $50,000. So for those of you who think, well, your tickets are more expensive, this is tough business to be in. A RoofCon, Win the Storm, Roofing Process Conference, it's events for you. It's not events to make us richer. I know Delmedico is losing money at his conference, but I'm not worried about it. I'm worried more about the message and the mission. Because my conference is not, we don't have a sales goal, but that extra one, if 100 people chose to go to Win the Storm instead of RoofCon, for example, you might break, like RoofCon might be losing money that year. And think about if we don't have that option next year because people behind it actually cannot do it no more because you did not support them. I'm here to tell you that every dollar counts in this business and you vote with your dollars. And if you don't agree with me, if I offend you with my messages, I'll give you an example. A lot of shady contractors hate me. A lot of manufacturers who are not transparent, who don't like to be asked questions, they hate me. But this channel is for people who are ready for the conversation, who don't play games, don't play politics. You can ask me any question, you can invite me to any interview and I will give it to you and I will answer. But there's so many people who are not willing to come to us. You know why? Because we say it how it is. This channel is for hard-working contractors who work hard and tired of bullshit from insurance companies, tired of bullshit from Home Advisor, Better Business Bureau, Angels List. We unite and we become better. We're not playing games. We're tired of shady practices from other contractors. That's why we might be the minority. I don't care if our conference will be 500, another one is 2,500, but please stop going there just because it's a bigger crowd. And I know I've lost some audience too. I've made mistakes, but I listen to you and will always make a difference. So I probably will be attending RoofCon next year. I hope to do something with Hunter Ballew. I'm gonna approach every single person who I didn't approach yet. This year I approached John Dye, Jonathan Sherwood, Paul and Kim Reed, people who I knew they were good people, but I was shy because I did not know how to approach them. They were out of my network. They were more on Win the Storm. This year, I'm not gonna make that mistake anymore. If you're a good player in the industry, good lawyer, good public adjuster, good marketer, I wanna give you platform to shine. And if you're a shady one, I'm gonna go after you with a hammer. So my message to you today, this Sunday message is, please vote with your dollar. You pouring that tree, and one tree can grow bigger and put other trees out of business. And I think that's what needs to happen. Bad people should not keep being successful because they're not gonna change. Their mission is not gonna change. Their character is not gonna change. You're just gonna help them explode. And if you don't agree with me, also cancel your event. Don't come to a Roofing Process Conference, because if I'm offending you, also, if you're afraid that I'm gonna grow up and be too influential and somehow it affects you and you feel like I'll come after you, maybe you're right. Maybe we don't. Listen, I will always say it how it is. Even if you're my friend today, the beauty of friendship, and you need to understand why we do what we do, why I do what I do. It's coming from love. I don't hate on Delmedico. Listen, Antony, if you want to change your ways, if you want to collaborate, if you call me tomorrow and say, Dmitry, I'm ready for the interview, I'm ready to improve, I'm ready to change my ways, you're right. I should not be money grabber. I should not be promoting guys like Waxman. I've done mistakes. I should not be holding and not replying to messages and phone calls of guys like Josh Kortner. I was wrong in that situation. If you admit your wrongs, if you promise that you're gonna change your event, I will help you. I will be the first one to promote you, just like I promote RoofCon. There's a lot. Today, guys, you have options. And conference is an amazing place to go, collaborate with others, learn, get inspiration, get the newest stuff, the next new things, because this business is tough and you need friends. So comment below what you think. I want to hear your stories. If you have attended Roofing Process Conference, RoofCon, and Win the Storm, comment below which conference you like, which one you didn't like. Give me some recommendation. What would you like to see at Roofing Process Conference this year? If this video made sense to you and you want to support us, let me know. Like it, subscribe to the channel, of course. And if you absolutely hate it, if you never want to hear about this, and if I'm wrong, please let me know too. I do listen, and like I said, I'm not doing this video for myself. I'm doing this for people who are coming out of the woodwork and they're trying to make the difference. And Delmedico about to receive a lot of criticism from people he did not see it coming from. Not me, I'm just a messenger, but it's never too late to change your ways. Just saying. Enjoy your week, guys. See you later.